It's literally a rags to riches story that started with a single visionary, Chung Ju Young. बार बार वो घर से भाग रहा है, बार बार उसके पिताजी उसको पकड़ पकड़ के वापस ला रहे हैं. Working into forced labor in the middle of a war. So whatever could go wrong went wrong. Hyundai didn't even start as an automobile company. They have their roots as a small construction firm. I mean, who would have thought, right? Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Mustard One, where we talk about business case studies. Today I have for you the story of Hyundai, a brand that is known today for its reliable and innovative cars. But the journey to get here was anything but smooth. So how exactly did Hyundai achieve such spectacular success that today we are seeing it as India's biggest IPO in the history so far? We'll explore how Hyundai's global strategy combined with the bold moves in India led to the creation of legendary models like Santro, i10 and Creta. This is a story filled with valuable lessons in product positioning, market strategy, and most importantly, how resilience alone can take you places, quite literally. Imagine this, a poor boy in a small village working hard in the fields for 17 hours a day for just one meal. He dreams of becoming a teacher, and even that seems impossible because his family can barely afford food, let alone go to school. Now, in this situation, becoming a teacher itself is a far-fetched dream. The delta is quite high. So this child works in the field, scraping by day after day, but deep inside, he knew that he is destined for more. At the age of 16, he ran away to the city where he worked as a construction laborer. His father found him and dragged him back home. This didn't happen just once, but thrice. बार बार वो घर से भाग रहा है, बार बार उसके पिताजी उसको पकड़ पकड़ के वापस ला रहे हैं. At the age of 22, he finally managed to work in Seoul. And after doing multiple jobs, he managed and then finally owned one small rice shop. But in 1940, World War II struck and Japan seized control of the Korean economy. Remember I said whatever could go wrong went wrong in the story? So everything that Chung had built was taken away in this war. Same year, he took a loan and opened an auto repair shop. But just a month later, it burned to the ground. Now where most people would quit, Chung borrowed again, rebuilt the garage, and continued expanding his very small business. In 3 years, he had around 80 employees working under him. His garage was known for speed and reliability, and this made him a local legend. But unfortunately, once again, his business was taken away when Japan merged it with a local steel plant during World War II. But by this time, he already has some connections and some savings as well. So in 1947, he founded Hyundai Civil Works Company. Now, by this time, he is already popular for his commitment and work, okay? Eventually, Hyundai earned contracts to build South Korea's largest dam and its most important highway. By the 1950s, Hyundai was helping to rebuild a war-torn nation, literally laying the foundation for the future. By the 1960s, Chung had built a successful construction company, but his ambition led him to the automobile industry. In 1967, he founded Hyundai Motor Company. Initially, they assembled Ford's Cortina cars. But due to some conflicts, Hyundai had to end its partnership with Ford in 1973. So, Chung later partnered with Japan's Mitsubishi Motors, allowing Hyundai to manufacture its own cars. In 1976, they launched South Korea's first mass-produced car, the Hyundai Pony, and immediately captured 60% of the domestic market. In the late 1980s, Hyundai made its bold entry in the US market, attracting early buyers with one apparently irresistible proposition: low prices. However, this is the automobile industry, which is a big decision for most people. So low price proposition in an unknown market backfired. American consumers began to see Hyundai cars as unreliable and cheap. Negative reviews poured in, tarnishing Hyundai's brand image. They countered it later with measures like new brand positioning and market-tailored product strategy to remain competitive. But in this video, we'll dive deep into their success story in the Indian context. When Hyundai entered the Indian market in the 1996, the landscape was dramatically different. Maruti Suzuki dominated with nearly 70% market share. The Indian mid-car segment in those days were dominated by compact vehicles like Zen, Alto, Maruti 800. The foreign automakers were already struggling due to high import tariffs and lack of understanding of the Indian consumer. Hyundai knew it couldn't compare with the Indian giant on pricing alone, so they used a different strategy. They offered better features to the upward mobile segment of the car buyers who were looking for slightly differentiated car at a premium prices as compared to Maruti. Hyundai entered the market with the launch of its flagship model Santro. In fact, Santro became the symbol of graduating from the lower income group to the middle class for an average Indian. The model offered several firsts in its segment. For example,
they chased me. They convinced me to advertise the Hyundai Santro.
Their aggressive marketing strategy was another crucial part of their success. They roped in Shah Rukh Khan, who was fresh from the runaway success of films like DDLJ and Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, and they chose him as its brand ambassador.
Santro is India's first multifunctional car. Office, school, shopping, holiday, weekday car, weekend car. Weekend car. क्या बोला तुमने? Complete family car. यही तो मैं भी कहना चाह रहा था. It's the complete family car. Hyundai Santro.
Now this helped them quickly build a strong family-friendly brand image, which resonated deeply with Indian consumers. They also positioned Santro as a family-friendly car, a key consumer segment in India. Many people forget that this tall boy Santro was once considered an ugly, weird-looking car. Great positioning, aggressive pricing, and savvy advertising turned the tide for the company here. Hyundai didn't stop with Santro. Over the next 2 decades, they introduced models that redefined the Indian car market. Their success can be attributed mostly to their launch timing and understanding of the Indian market trends. i10 was launched in 2007. It capitalized on growing demand for small, affordable hatchbacks as Indian cities became more congested, making compact cars more desirable. i20. This entered the market when premium hatchback segment was expanding, with Indian consumers starting to preferring cars that combined affordability with high-end features. The emerging trend since past few years has been around SUV. The SUV segment, which traditionally appealed to customers valuing larger seating capacity, has increasingly gained customer preference over the years. The compact SUV segment especially provided the much desired SUV body styling at competitive rates, bringing SUV segment within the reach of the common consumers. Creta was launched to tap into this fast-growing SUV market in India back in 2015. At that time, there was a rising consumer trend towards larger, more versatile vehicles like SUVs. They are slowly expanding their EV portfolio as well by leveraging existing successful models. Creta EV will soon hit the markets, I think in early 2025. So, Hyundai usually doesn't introduce new products in any segment, but carefully study the market trends and then introduce similar but slightly more premium products that capitalize on those opportunities. Each model, whether it's i10, i20 or Creta, provided more value for money compared to their rival in the same segment. This mix of affordability and premium features attracted aspirational yet price-sensitive Indian buyers. The higher average sales price reflects this trend, with Hyundai's ASP around 11 lakhs, significantly higher than Maruti Suzuki's 8.6 lakh. In fact, in fiscal year 2023, nearly 50% of Hyundai's total sales came from models priced above 10 lakhs, underscoring brand's appeal in this higher price bracket. In 2019, Kia made its entry into the Indian market. And the reason we are discussing Kia in this video is actually Hyundai is its parent company. Hyundai has adopted a branding strategy called House of Brands. So there's this parent company with multiple independent brands, each having their own identity, target audience, and market positioning. Let's take the example of P&G. They own tons of famous brands, but you wouldn't necessarily know they're all under the same company. For instance, when you think of Tide, Gillette, Pantene, you're not necessarily thinking about P&G. Many of us don't even know that, okay, it's under the same company. Now, why exactly does P&G do this? Number one, targeted marketing. Second, avoiding brand dilution. And third, category domination by very, very strong association. In a house of brands setup, the master brand is kept separate from its extensions, allowing each sub-brand to operate independently. In Hyundai's case, it's not exactly house of brands, but a close version of it. Kia, though a subsidiary of Hyundai, entered the Indian market much later but has quickly gained prominence. And its success is largely due to the strategic alignment with Hyundai while maintaining its own distinct brand identity. Hyundai is also using a strategy called cross-badging, where similar or identical cars are sold under different brand names. Now, this may seem simple, but actually has a huge cost advantage. It costs at least 300 crore to develop a car for India. But cross-badging requires merely tooling changes, an investment of less than 20 crores. Now, this is a slightly risky move because in India, it failed a decade back. But Hyundai and Kia are still experimenting with this strategy. The good thing is, it hasn't yet backfired and has allowed both these brands to share the platforms, technology, and manufacturing processes. Thereby, they reduce the costs and increased efficiency. The result is a diverse product portfolio that caters to a wide range of customer preferences. Now, coming to the supply chain factors behind Hyundai's success, remember we discussed when Hyundai entered the Indian market, foreign automakers were already struggling due to high import tariffs. Hyundai made a risky move, which was a strategic decision back then. So they built a fully owned manufacturing plant in Chennai. This investment allowed Hyundai to sidestep import tariffs and lower the production costs, making their vehicles much more affordable to the Indian consumer. Well-established, localized supply chain with more than 90% of the sourcing done from 4 adjoining districts near Sri Perumbudur in Chennai reduced their sourcing time and costs. Right from the launch of Santro in 1998, Hyundai focused on sourcing a large portion of its components from the local suppliers, and this significantly reduced their production costs and time. They've also invested heavily in the market access and after-sales service. They have the third largest dealer network and the second largest after-sales service network in India, ranked highest in terms of dealer relationship management. Hyundai, having learned a lesson in the US already, recognized early on that robust after-sales service was essential for building customer trust in the Indian market. By establishing an extensive service network with readily available genuine spare parts, Hyundai built long-term relationship with its customers. Its robust supply chain ensured the efficient distribution of spare parts to even the remote locations that minimized the service downtime. Hyundai gets its edge over the competition through manufacturing prowess as well. Their modular, state-of-the-art manufacturing facility at Chennai produces more than 131 vehicles per hour. That is approximately 2 passenger vehicles per minute. The best part is their ability to manufacture several models from a single line, along with its variants. The factory has 740 robots. This is crucial because it has direct impact on Hyundai's return on invested capital that stands at a whopping 177% in FY24 as compared to Maruti Suzuki, which is at 71%. So guys, that was all from my end. I hope you liked this video, found it useful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and see you in the next episode of Mustard Word. Till then, bye bye, take care.